Hey folks, I'm done with my early morning teaching, so I'm going to do a little bit more gaming, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. I'm going to be playing a little bit more again, with a little bit more with the Death Shadow deck, and I really enjoyed this. We had a good ride. Actually, this version, the advantage over Rakdos is that this one has better removal for planeswalkers, and enchantments, because we have access in black and white to Fracture and Vanishing Verse, also to D-Spark. Against Phoenix and Golgari, we can cast Deafening Silence. Fragment Reality is something I want to try out again, because here in this deck we just need to connect 1-2 times and we can win the game. Mana Tides is good against big mana decks, and Fatal Push against creature decks, Black Beetle against green decks. That's really the sideboard plan. We are playing Luros because this version wants to be very low to the ground. I might want to try out later a version which is a bit more built, a bit more white heavy, and maybe only splashes for Toadseas and Painful Bond. And that deck would play more Thalia, Ranger Captain of Eos, and other very strong white value creatures. But this deck is primarily black, and it has a bit more removal and a couple of good black creatures. Lion's Ash is something I want to try out. I think my hunches is good in the historic meta. We have Painful Bond for card advantage and filling our hand again. Under City Plunder, it can also be pretty good against creatures. Final Payment is fine. We don't mind. Paying the 5 life to fatten up our Shadow. Savior is there to protect key creatures. Sentinel to get a bit of card advantage and chip in. And Adamto Vanguard is brilliant, right? We can spend life on it, and it's very hard to remove for many decks. Although there's more and more exile-based removal, which reminds me actually of March. Now March is a tricky one, right? Both of the Marches, the black and the white, are very good. In this deck, we don't really want to gain lives, so I don't think I want to play the black one. But the white March is very tempting. The only problem with the white March is the things that we would want to remove are typically bigger things, and we are not necessarily in the position to play a lot of mana on most of our turns. We usually want to double spell if we get to 4 or 5 mana or activate one of our mana lands. I don't know. Maybe it's something we should try out, but I'm not sure yet. But maybe instead of one Fatal Push, we can give it a go. Let's see how it does. It's a very efficient, very strong card, and exiling does have an important role to play. So we can have a look at this and see how we get on with it. I mean, the advantage of this version, the Orzhov version, over the Rakdos version that we played yesterday, is that the card is just the colors are a little bit, the mana is a little bit better because we have a fast land, so we can cast our important early game spells more consistently on curve, and we have to make fewer choices. Also, we're going to remove that. We don't want our opponent to ramp, especially snow. Yeah, they might have Blizzard, Brawl, or some similar shenanigan. Drawing 2 Fatal Push can be very, very good here. I wonder if this is Elves, or is this just some kind of green jank? Maybe mono green. I actually want to try a mono green aggro deck. So Ronas can be dangerous because we can't really remove it. Ooze is not that scary for us. Troll can be very annoying for us, to be honest. We can't do a whole lot against Troll. I mean, Ronas is only active if they have another 4 toughness creature. So in some ways, maybe Troll is the most dangerous for us. And if you remove the elves, they actually don't have very good access to mana, so they can't cast the Mammoth and the Ronas anyway at the moment. So we're still good. But we will need more options to pop off here. I do want to try a mono green aggro deck in the next weeks. I might throw something together after this game. Yeah, that would be fun probably. Okay, ooze, yeah, that's something to be expected, of course. So painful bond could be okay here to find some more removal. Or I mean, the knight can deal with them because it has death touch. Maybe knight for the moment, and then bond at the end of their turn. I don't think I have more fatal push main deck. Opponent did draw a handful of creatures, and next turn they can fatten up their scavenging ooze. Are they going to attack? I mean, that might be interesting whether they attack or not. If they would attack, I would probably double block here. Yeah, I probably don't mind double blocking here. And if they go after the Ebon Legion, I don't even mind using the Savior on it. Right, so that would be the first thing they would hit, right? I think I'm okay here with saving my Ebon Legion and taking their ooze. Oof. It's a bit brutal. So I think we want the Hive up, Lurus in hand, get in for 2, and see how things go from here. I mean, obviously they do have an ooze, and they can eat my dog from the graveyard, which is probably the best play. They also gain a life, and they will be closer to getting back to activating Ronas, which they can do then on their next turn by eating more creatures from their own graveyard with the ooze. We can leave up the Knight of the Ebon Legion, of course, in response, so that's something we can do always. If they don't eat the Selfless Savior now, then we can just get it back straight away with Lurus. And yeah, there are a couple of options for me, a couple of options for the opponent. We're going to have Hive. Hive is very good because it can get in. So I think they do need to think about what and how they do here. If I would be playing mono green, my main reason at the moment would be I might splash for red, but I think light splash would be okay. The problem with Gruul is I think the same as the problem with Dimir and Rakdos. They want to be very fast, maybe Celestia as well. Azorius isn't like that, but the other color pairs, especially Rakdos and Gruul, but also Dimir and to some extent Celestia, want to be fast. And we don't have the fast land, allied fast lands in Historic yet, sadly. Only the enemy fast lands. So that's a problem. Opponent didn't play anything. Wow. That's suspicious. I'm gonna go with the Savior first. Okay, they definitely have something, right? I wonder whether they have a combat spell or what do they have? Do they have a combat spell? Do they have a flash creature? I don't know. I mean, opponent is there. They were just checking their hands. I could see it flash up. So I don't know. They might just be salty as well. That happens. People do get a bit upset about these kind of things. It's been annoying to play against Loris and Selfless Saviors. I understand that. Right. They're just gonna let the timer run down every turn, it seems. Well, it's not very gentlemanly what they're doing, but, what can you do? They don't seem to have actually anything. They just let the timer run out. I don't think they should have given up. I mean, they're not in that position. Ooze could still help them to make a comeback. they can start eating their graveyard and grow the ooze big enough to activate the Ronas, and then I have a very, very hard time getting through until I draw my Death Shadow, and I need to get low in life and all that and all that. But it seems like opponent is someone who, if their games aren't going super well at the beginning, they just like to retire themselves, take a break. It's not great to play against someone with that mentality. It's just not really great. Well, anyway, yeah. So Orzhov has certain advantages. I think the removal is also slightly better in Orzhov than in Rakdos. Rakdos has Proxa, which is powerful. Arcanist could be tried out. Channeler could be tried out. But I think having more exile and kill spells in black-white, especially white has fantastic exile spells these days, is just probably worth it. Yeah, I mean, the most dangerous things in Historic at the moment are not the creature decks, right? Phoenix and Azorius, which are the most dangerous. So being able to remove artifacts, enchantments, planeswalkers, and exile key things is just very good. And the other thing is, oof, that's not a good hand. I mean, it wouldn't be bad if I would have even one black-white mana instead of one of the Lion Sashes. Okay, that's decent. I can run with that. And we're gonna ship back the pathway. I think I'm gonna draw more anyway. We're gonna have a look at what our opponent has here. Actually, we're gonna lead with a creature, and then next turn maybe double discard. Oh, Relic of Progenitus main deck. This might be. My hunch is this is gonna be another mono black ramp deck. It seems to be endemic, and I've seen so many of it on the ladder recently. Yep, it is. So this deck tries to ramp into Karn and Ugin and use some efficient artifacts to absolutely Yorgo man. Use some efficient artifacts and kill spells on the way there to keep the board clear and get a good advantage. That's their idea. And yeah, it's fine. I don't know. Do I want to? I think I want to grow my Ebon Legion. I'm quite happy to. I mean, this is one not going to be decided on damage. So yeah, just gonna do this. Grow my Ebon Legion. I lost 12 life to myself so far. It's pretty cool. And they have Fatal Push. Well, what can you do? Not much. Okay, never mind. Progenitus is going to force me to get rid of something. Right. Not much I can do about that. They're gonna get rid of my Evil Legion, so I can't bring it back later with Dolores. Which is fair enough, but I think they just wanted to draw a card. They need more lands to curve out. And yeah, we're gonna Toadseize that Invoke Despair because it's a bit strong and annoying for me. And we're just gonna keep going in. We're very far from killing my opponent. Very, very far, and they're gonna get a Castle Locthwain, and they're gonna be able to draw more cards if they want to. Although that comes at a hefty price of paying some more life, so I'm not sure they're gonna go with that. We're definitely gonna go in with the Vanguard, and I think I'm gonna get back Dolores just to make sure that I have enough beaters, maybe increase my damage output a little bit because they will be able to activate the Hive as well. So I might have to buy back the Vanguard. Right, Shepherd Dunes. So what's gonna be the right way to go about this here? Ooh, They might want to go first with the bond. See what we can get. Sentinel isn't bad. Sentinel might help me to draw a card off their things. Are they going to... They're going to... So... This is interesting. I think I just want to buy it back with Dolores next turn, if that's possible. Yeah, I think I'm okay with trading here. I mean, I can keep it, but then I'm really on 1 mana, and if they have another Invoke Despair, I think I'm dead. That does do, yeah, makes the opponent lose some life. We're gonna bring our own Hive and our Lurus. I lose a life. This is one of the reasons why I didn't want to cast the Adanto Vanguard. Chip in for 1 more. And let's just hope the opponent doesn't have an exile spell, like an extinction event or something like that. I mean, even then, with the Hive of the Eye Tyrant, we are not doing too badly. We can kill them in 2 turns unless they gain life, which they might. If they draw another March of Wretched Sorrow. It's a good card. It's a good card. Right, we're gonna draw a card off that. This can't kill Planeswalkers, that's a problem. That is a problem. So now we could go in, go face. If we go face, we only do 4. Can I activate the Dunes? I could activate the Dunes, right? The Shafet Dunes. And then Lurus deals 4. Sentinels deals 2, but they gain a card and all that. Ugh, that's really good. Not a fan. So probably let's go for the more optimal play here. Bring back the Vanguard. Bring a Sentinel. Sack that Sentinel to get rid of their token, Ugin token. Yeah, that's okay. They get the card, goes back to hand. And we put them down to 2. And we go up to 6, which means that we can activate the Vanguard 1 time if we need to defend it. So they need to do several things here. They need to get rid of... they need to gain life. They need to get rid of 1 or 2 of our threats. Yeah, this might be a bit too tall of an order. I mean, if they can wipe the board and make a blocker with the Ineffable, that's still not enough, because we can still activate one of the Hive of the Eye Tyrants if they have Menace. Vanguard has been an absolute star. To be honest, I haven't really drawn a single Death Shadow so far. So we're gonna discard 2 lands to my opponent, so they don't get anything useful from our deck. We drew, again, 8 lands. Pretty unbelievable, right? Never mind. Almost half of our decks, half of our lands are here, as usual. So they make 1 blocker, and they still have 4 mana, 5 mana up. That's a lot. 5 mana is a lot. If they cast a Wretched Sorrow for 4 on something, it's gonna be a lot of damage. So probably they have a Wretched Sorrow. Yeah, they're gonna cast it for 5, most likely on Dolores. Just gonna get, yeah, just gonna die, and that will mean that they go back up to what, 6. If they go back up to 6. We would need to connect both with Lurus and Vanguard to kill them. So even if we cast Final Payment, we remove their token, we will only do 4 and they will survive. If I cast Shefet Dunes now, then I'm guaranteed to do 6, but they block something and take something out. If I activate the Hive of the Eye Tyrant, they kill one thing and they block something, so I'm gonna again get in only for 4. It's not good, but I think I'm still gonna bring the Sentinel first, before they cast anything. And then activate one of the Eye Tyrants. And so whatever they cast, I can double tax that with the Sentinels, right? So... yeah, sure. Okay, so I can double tax. We're gonna keep our Vanguard because we're gonna gain some life from the Lurrus. And we're gonna use that on the Eye Tyrant. Okay, that's fair enough. We're gonna get a Swamp. That's good. Even lower chance that we're gonna draw a land next turn. And they still die. Okay, so they didn't actually have March of Wretched Sorrow. I was 100% sure that they have it. They were playing as if they would have it. They were playing as if they would have it. Okay, so in this deck, I mean, Fragment Reality can be pretty good if they have artifacts. Mana Tithe can be decent. I don't think we want Fatal Push. We do want Sentinel, Savior, Shadow, Kozilek, Knight of Ebon Tootsies, Vanguard, Lion's Sash, Siphoner, Painful Bond, Plunder, Payment, Redeem. Maybe instead of Payment, some other more flexible removal is better. So then we could bring 2 Tithe and maybe 2 Fractures. And Fragment Reality could be good here as well. And they're gonna be... yeah, they're gonna have the... they're gonna have the... they're gonna begin. They're gonna start. Is Sash good, actually? Satire creature from graveyard. Sash might be a bit slow here, and they don't have a lot of graveyard synergy. And doesn't get us any kind of advantage. Maybe D-Spark and Reality are better because they can remove some key artifacts the opponent might have. So I'm gonna give it a go with those. This is gonna be fun to see. Well, let's have a look. Okay, what a bad hand. Oof, what a bad hand. So one-landers are unkeepable, sadly, in this deck, because as you see, all our important cards are on 2 mana. Savior is a fantastic card, don't get me wrong, but... oh no, another one. Really? I mean, if we do draw at some point into... yeah, okay, so we're gonna try to play this safe. Bring the Savior, bring the Sentinel. Toadseas, okay. That was to be expected, I guess. Undercity Plunder. Right. Well, we're gonna discard our own Undercity Plunder, I guess. And decline to discard anything else. And we're on 1 mana still. It's gonna be very painful. I think we're gonna lose this to Mana Screw. Because you see, in the previous game, when we had around 25 to 30% chance to draw lands, we drew several lands, 8 or 9, from our top 20. But now that we have between 35 to 40% chance, we're gonna draw probably 1 or 2 in the next 5 cards. Maybe, not sure. Probably 1 in the next 4 draws. How my opponent is considering what's more important. Should they let me draw any cards or not? Well, we're gonna toad-seize them. I'm sure they have some pretty powerful stuff going on in their hand. They're going to Fatal Push. We're not getting a card off it. And we get rid of a Necromancy, but that's pretty much it. And they're in a brilliant position to make a ton of mana and start Locthwaining, because we have no pressure and no threats whatsoever. So that's a situation we need to change. We need some threat on the board. We need to start hitting them, because that's the only way for us to win. Our opponent can just play to control the board. And, if they have an Ugin out, doesn't matter so much what else is going on with them. They can even get rid of our creatures. I mean, Sentinel is still good. I still need cards, but I still would want to pay Bond and find another land. And look, I told you, it's going to be one land in the next one. And we're, again, between 35 40. I think the next 3 draws is going to be one more land. It's going to be one more land. Yep, Bond can go. They're going to draw... Wow, they're really desperate to draw something. But I mean, I think they're just so far ahead, right? And they could remove everything I had so far. They have a lot of mana. They have control of the graveyard. And we're just in no position to do anything here, really. We're just in no position. I'll try to draw land one more time, but I think it's just going to illustrate what I told you. When you're between 35 and 40%, you're very unlikely to draw lands. That's just, I don't know. Historically, it's my experience. So it's a tough spot with the Arena Shuffler. Death Shadow is useless because we're not getting lands, and lands would be very important for us to ping ourselves. I mean, we really can't do much. Can we submit? Submit. Yep, sure. We're gonna keep our graveyard filled. I mean, I think we already lost this game, but I don't know. Maybe there's a comeback chance. Very meager one. Opponent is going to sack it, exile the graveyard, draw a card. Relic is pretty good. So Relic is funny, right? Because you need to keep up a mana, but you do get a nice payoff for doing so. Oh, and MTG Arena didn't tap my deadlands not to ping me. Oh, it's so considerate and sweet, but I really would have wanted to have my Esper Sentinel on the board. I really would have wanted to have my Esper Sentinel on the board. Oh, yeah, can go. We're gonna ping ourselves for one. Yeah, just to ping ourselves, and so we're gonna cast here a Savior. We're gonna cast here a Sentinel. And we're gonna cast here an Ebon Legion. And then we have a board, kinda. We could hit for 6 next turn, which is not bad. I mean, that's 2 turn clock. But there's literally almost 0 chance that our opponent doesn't have at least 2 removal pieces. I wouldn't be surprised if they would have an Ugin. They would just be they've just been sitting on it, and now they're just gonna play it and exile with that. I mean, we could try to defend our Sentinel. I don't think that's going to. I think with minus it doesn't work, right? Because the status changes. It doesn't suffer damage. If it would have been dealt 3 damage, that would be different, because then it would have been like, oh, it dies to the damage it received. Its health is still 1. It's just gotten damaged. And if it's indestructible, the damage doesn't destroy it. But something like Yeheni says, no, this is just now a much weaker creature. It's so weak, it's -1. And then it doesn't take any damage, it just dies because it's so weak. It makes sense, sir. Alright, we're gonna play another Savior. And we're gonna bring our Larry. We can defend it one time, which is okay. Unless opponent has another Yahini. Dairy free might kill us in this game. And of course, I always forget to ping myself with the Shadow, with the Deadlands. We could be already at like 10 life, and that would be very good. Yeah, that would have been pretty good. I'm only staying in the game because we drew a lot of creatures. I mean, we played 20 creatures, I think, and we drew like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of them, half of our creatures in our top 20, which is really interesting, very rare as well. Opponent is just deliberating there, whether they should allow me later to do something. Let me go for Relic, sure. Don't have instant speed removal, that's okay. They do have the Lock Twain, they can draw cards if they want to. I mean, in their place, I would probably draw cards, why not, right? Oh, that's going to be an extremely big march of Wretched Sorrow to gain like 10 life, 11 life. Yeah. So now you see the March of Wretched Sorrow deals damage. So that didn't kill the Lurrus because Lurrus still had 2 strength. It suffered a lot of damage, but it would have died to damage, which means destruction. But that Selfless Savior protected it from destruction. So, but my opponent's hand is pretty abysmal as well. They drew exactly the opposite of what I did. Crazy amount of lands. Wow, 1 more land. That's pretty insane. We're definitely gonna go with the Sentinel, and I think we're just gonna try the Shadow and keep growing it, and maybe it's gonna become big in the next turns. If I would have Shadowed consistently, this would be probably like a 5/5 now. I always forget about using my Deadlands properly. I shouldn't, of course. It's very important in this deck. It's crucial that you ping yourself. So Thoughtseize was here, actually very, very good. But our opponent has another... It seems like they have another March of Wretched Sorrow. No, they don't. Gosh. I think they can pay the tax, yeah. They can pretty easily pay the tax at this point. It's still interesting to play against this deck. I can't say I don't enjoy it. And I do. It's one of the decks that I sort of like to play against. Maybe it's just I'm not that used to it yet. I'm not that bored of it yet. Golgari has just been so strong for such a long time that it's getting pretty boring. I don't know. Should I just? I think I'm just gonna give up. I'm very, very far behind, and they're just gonna outthrow me here. Not getting enough resources at the beginning was pretty horrible. All right, let's go. Let's hope that we just get a better land non-land ratio. We drew 2 1-land hands, and then we drew 2 lands in the next, like, 15, 18 cards. So let's hope we get a little bit better hand, and then we can maybe stand a chance against our very, very controlling, very, very black opponent who wants to kill us. I mean, this is sort of decent. We don't have any threats on this hand, on the other hand, so that's a bit annoying. We can go with the Deadlands, Thoughtseize opponent. Next turn, keep up Mana Tithe. Fracture can help, Painful Bond can help us to dig for something, so yeah, I mean, this is not a horrible hand. Not great, not horrible, yeah. We're gonna lose 3 life straight away. This is interesting. I mean, Karn can be removed by Fracture, so I'm not that afraid of it. Cling to Dust, they need cards in their graveyard to use it repeatedly. Despair is still very far away. Fatal Push, and maybe Plunder is the most annoying card at the moment. With the bigger mana cards, we can keep up Mana Tithe and hope to be able to use it properly. So, I mean, I guess I'm just gonna bring the Dunes and just pass, keep up Mana Tithe. If they cast something, we're just gonna Tithe it. If not, we're just going to Plunder. We're gonna keep pinging ourselves, so if we have a Death Shadow, it's pretty nice and big and juicy. We get another Bond. It's pretty bad. We're gonna keep up Tithe again and Painful Bond again, so yeah, that's that. We don't want to be a control deck in this game. It would have been ideally we should have at least one threat on the board by now. Maybe I should play 4 Ebon Legions. The problem with the Ebon Legions is they also require a mana investment. Right? I don't want my opponent to draw more lands or whatever. Any kind of card, really. It's bad for us if they draw. Right, we're gonna pay life and then hope to draw several Death Shadows. Okay, not yet. Not just yet. Not quite yet. So what do we want to get rid of? I mean, one of the Fatal Pushes would be good to have gone. Yeah, I think we need to play something at this point. Opponent might Fatal Push and claim to dust it. Yeah, well, not much we can do about that, so yeah, I think that's a good idea. They should do that. We can ping ourselves at the end of opponent's turn if we need to. Oh, should have kept up. Yeah, should have kept up. Should have had full control. Okay, we get a Lurrus. Opponent is planning to Painful Bond. Yep, they have a Painful Bond, or they're thinking about clinging the Savior. Yeah, it's okay if you cling the Totsu's, I don't mind, that's for sure. They don't have land number 4, meanwhile we get land number 6, which is pretty punishing for our deck. Yeah, it's very strange. The previous game, and I forgot to ping myself again, never mind. In the previous game, we just didn't draw any lands. In this deck, now we draw a lot of lands. Well, that seems to be how it's going. Okay, we're just gonna pay there. Now we are in Death Shadow range. Invoke Despair is pretty bad for us, though. I mean, they don't really have the mana for it, so Murderous Rider is in some ways the more annoying thing. Karn can be very annoying as well. With one Karn we can Tithe. The thing is, if we Tithe Karn, we can't Tithe Despair, right? God. This is annoying. Yeah, this is a pretty good hand for my opponent, sadly. It doesn't look like much, but it's actually good. Yep. We're gonna keep this, bring the Savior. I know it's not ideal from mana point of view. They do draw their 5th mana, we're in trouble, but yeah, we just gotta try. We gotta take a little risk here and hope that somehow we get away with it. We can protect the Lurrus one time, and yeah, I mean, that's something. Of course, tithing the Murderous Rider would be extra nice because it would mean that we could they couldn't have the body either. Oh yeah, Karn. Yep. They're gonna bring Karn. This is the first damage they've taken on like turn 6. They're gonna get the Relic probably, right? Pithing Needle. Activated abilities, which is Oh, and they're going to cast that on the Savior, right? I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, that would be a wise choice. That would be a wise choice. Yeah. Okay, that's for sure. Loris is gonna kill the Karn. And Savior is gonna ping for 1. And we're gonna want to remove the needle. Now we still have removal up for Ugin and protection for Lurus and Manatite as well, so that's pretty good. We're not in a bad position. I think they're gonna go for Ugin. I think they're gonna go for Ugin. It would make sense, I think, if they would go for Ugin. Nothing? Really? Anthony? So are they planning to get me to attack? Yeah, so what they're planning is this. They're planning to get me to attack. Block with the Hive. And I have to get rid of my Savior to save my Lurus. And then what? I mean, I bring back the Savior. Okay. I don't see their plan here quite clearly. Take a Murderous Rider. But then I can still use the Savior. Really? Nothing? That's so strange, though. Are they gonna just try and beat me down with the Hive of the Eye Tyrant? That's possible. So I think I want to get rid of the Murderous Rider here. That's maybe the most annoying at the moment, to be honest. The Spear is pretty annoying as well. It draws them several cards. Yeah, pings us for a lot, draws them multiple cards. I just need to get rid of that, right? Yeah. Ah, I see. So they're going to do it this way. Okay, that makes sense, because this way they can remove... Right. So I had to do this. And then... Yeah. And then... Right, that doesn't do anything, but they can snag my Savior with Claim to Dust next turn. Yep, that makes sense. That was a good plan. Yep, that made pretty good sense for them to do it this way. And they still have mana to bring the Murderous Rider back. Yeah, that's what they want to do first, to go for sure. Yep, nothing I can do about that. Are they going to pay the tax? I don't think they're going to pay the tax. I think they're going to want to bring back the Murderous Rider and then hope that the Murderous Rider will stonewall. Ah, really? They pay the tax? Wow. I'm surprised. That's to me a surprising move. That's to me a surprising move. I mean, they don't really have many plays here, do they? I could bring the Dunes. And hit for 6, but I think I would rather have the option to remove more things at instant speed. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's see what the opponent can do here. Yeah, Henny would be very bad for us now. Ugin is pretty bad too, actually. Ugin is pretty annoying as well. But yeah, Henny is the biggest danger because we just lose our creatures to that. So funny. So what do we have in the deck still? We have 3 Esper Sentinels, 3 more Selfless Saviors, 4 Death Shadows, Kozilek, 2 Knights of the Ebon Legions, 1 Tough Seizes, 4 Addendo Vanguard. So we haven't seen a single Addendo Vanguard or a single Death Shadow. Oof. 2 more Bonds, 2 more Plunders, 2 more Agademes. Agademes are not very useful here, sadly. Are they gonna pay the tax? If they do, then they monetize. They don't! They know that something. I love this. This is funny. This is funny. Opponent did a good. Yeah, that is very wise. If they would have paid the tax, then they can't remove Nylaris, of course. You know, I might want to cast this one myself. Yeah, I mean, I can't really bring back, unless we top deck Agademes, but I mean, that's very unlikely. We get a -1/-1 Death Shadow. Okay, and we're gonna get rid of Ugin as well. If our opponent can do anything naughty with it. And we get a land. We get another freaking land. I mean, this is just becoming ridiculous. This is just becoming ridiculous, really. Ah, gosh. So many. Yeah, this is just not good. 0 pressure. So this is my problem. Like, what would be good 1/2 drop creatures that could exert more pressure? It seems to me that a lot of the creatures in white and should we maybe play more of a should we maybe play more of a that's only the sorcery. Dang, because of Loras the shadow died. I could have pinked myself. I'm so stupid. I could have held my shadow to survive. Oh god. I can be such a retard. Yeah, well, that's not the top deck I was waiting for, that's for sure. Well, we need to do a little work there. Need to do a little work there, and we're gonna sack that. Okay, that's something. We're gonna bring the Selfless Savior. Opponent has some kind of interaction, I don't know what, besides the Field of Ruin. I mean, they certainly have that, but I don't know what else. We're still keeping the Mana Tithe and the Concealed Courtyard because the Courtyard can help us to discard something in case they have a discard spell like Undercity Plunder. And yeah, I messed up there with the Fragment Reality, right? I should have pinged myself for 2 and then my Death Shadow would have survived and I would be threatening lethal. Anyway, yeah, maybe I should have played it though. I don't know. But they're still not at Ugin mana, and Ugin is the big Ugin. Oh, now they are. Shush. If they bring big Ugin, then this is over. We haven't seen any of our manlands either, so that's a big problem too. We still have all 3 of our manlands, right? Yes, we still have 2 hives and the cave. Okay, we do get the Death Shadow finally. That's something. But they do get the token. It's annoying. And they have another Murderous Rider that they're going to play as a creature. Gosh. How annoying. Everything has lifelink. Look at that board. Suddenly out of nowhere. Now we... Oh, come on, dude. This is so annoying. So little and so late. Now that they have a board, we don't have any removal. We've been sitting on removal for turns on end. Oh, God. I mean, I think my only chance is to build a board here and build a board and just try and get them next turn. Definitely not getting them this turn, but I can try to get them next turn. And he can't kill me from 10, most likely. Yeah, please do play. Do pay. Oh, it's a swamp, of course. So now even if they pay an Ugin, they can pay for the mana tithe. Gosh. So hard. This is a really tough game. This is a really tough game because most of our removal is gone. We used up the Fractures, we used up... well, not actually, but we used up one Fragment Reality. What else do we have in our deck? We do still have one Toadseas, one Inquisition of Kozilek, one D-Spark. That's about it. I think I didn't side in Vanishing Verse because in the first game I didn't see any mono black planeswalkers. I only saw Ugin and Karn, so and I thought it's maybe a bit of an overstatement against these guys. Yeah, that's actually a smart move. That is actually a smart move on my opponent's part. I like that. Yeah, that was a smart move. Getting red because next turn that would have caused some problems for them. That would definitely have caused some problems for them. This is a long game, by the way. This is like 40 minutes we have been on it. Wow, opponent. I need to get down some stuff, so please finish. Let's finish this. Whichever way it works out, I'll be very happy with this because it was just a good game. You know, I don't want to complain. I think I had a good time, and it's there on 6 life. What do we do with that? People, what do we do with that? And we draw again a land. It's basically 1, 2, 3, but whenever it matters, it's going to be land. What could have been better than a land? I mean, Toadseas would have been good because I'm pretty sure they have some kind of removal. Painful Bond would have been good to get a few more cards. Undercity Plunder would have been good to get something out of their deck. Academ's Awakening would have been good to get back another Shadow and other things as well after a fight, maybe a Vanguard. Any creature would have been good just to keep our board going. D-Spark would have been good to deal with the Sorin. But you see, the problem is I can only really attack with the Vanguard and the Shadow. Yeah, that's a big issue, right? So we're gonna attack with those. We're gonna go face with those. We're gonna go after Saurian with these 3. Yeah, I think that's okay. They have to block one of the 2. I mean, they have to block Shadow, basically, right? They can activate the Hive. Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind. Sure. Let's see how you block. Okay, that makes sense. That also makes sense. That also makes sense. Now, that means their Saurian doesn't die, so it can get them a card again. That's not a huge danger because I can't really pay for it. If it's land, that's okay. The big danger for me is that if I do pay 3 here with the Vanguard, that doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't, well, it does make sort of sense, but they can just stack me for 5 with these 2, and I'm dead. Yeah, that's great, is it? If I save the Vanguard with the Savior, that's a pretty good move, probably. Or I can save the Sentinel with the Savior. I only do 1 damage to Sorin then, though, and then they can still make another Vampire, so that's a problem. So I think I would still want here to save the Vanguard. And this is where the red deck is just a little bit better with Embercleave because it can go the extra mile and trample. Yeah, that's fine. Go for it, go for it. Then enter stepped, we're done. And this is a problem of Death Shadow, right? It's easy to block. Even in an almost creatureless deck, they can make enough tokens every turn, activate their man land to just keep blocking my Death Shadow from getting in. That basically means the deck can't really win. So probably using the Fragment Reality on my own lures was a mistake. I should have kept that for something like the Hive of the Eye Tyrant. That would have been fantastic now to get rid of. Now the problem is that they can also just yeah, it's very cheap and good for them. They can also just gain more life at any point with Cling to Dust. Yep. And they're gonna have another lifelink vampire. They can still activate the Hive. Come in for 5. I'm almost dead. Don't even have a Death Shadow. So even if I have removal for their vampire token, I can't grow the Shadow into a really big creature with the Vanguard. Yeah. So that's tricky. They're gonna just win here with the Hive and the vampire tokens and withdraw. Yet another land, naturally. What else? What else? What else? What else? Okay, we're done. We're gonna kill ourselves with our own Vanguard, and thank you, good game opponent. I like this. They did very well, and you know, it happens. Sometimes we draw the wrong half of our deck. Here we drew all removal and no pressure for a very long time, and of course against a deck that goes over our head in the late game, that means we lose. But yeah, this is the aspect of Magic, which is really just up to luck. It's not a bad thing. It's just the randomness that's inherent in any kind of card game, and the deck has still been very fun. I think I'm gonna keep experimenting a bit with these Death Shadow variants. Yeah, I just don't really know whether. I mean, more pressure would be good. I'm almost leaning towards the idea that it would be best to make Orzhov Death humans, which doesn't have Lurrus as a companion, and which cuts down a bit on some of the black stuff. And in exchange, it can afford to play 10 strong creatures, right? Because it can put the sashes into the sideboard as well. And maybe it can go down the bonds too. And in that case, we maybe 2 mana tithe is okay. And maybe one less. Maybe we can be okay with the march, without the march. Hmm? Yeah, anyway, anyway, what could we do here that's good? So we could then have Cathar. No, Apparition. Apparition can help a lot to get in, right? If anything is blocking our way. We could have then our... We could have Thalia, which is I think quite powerful. We could have Spellbinder. We could have a Redain in the side. And we could have a bunch of Ranger Captains to block our opponent from casting, yeah, non-creature spells. And I think we would want... Well, how many things are humans? 12, we can go up to 16. I mean, that's not great, but we could use Bodyguard instead of Savior. And then we would get a pretty good synergy. Actually, Giant Killer could be quite good here as well. Maybe I should consider Giant Killer for sideboard as well. Trader Inspector is pretty good, right? It can draw some cards. Yeah, it's pretty decent. So maybe we would want to get rid of the Savior, right? We don't have Loras anyway, so our Savior synergy is a bit less. And we could use then Thraben Inspector and Thalia's Lieutenant, and maybe one Adversary. Adversary is live game though, we don't want that with Shadow, that's right, that doesn't work. Yeah, we would want Thalia's Lieutenant. And I mean, I think if we played this, then Inquisitor Captain and Adeline is just, they're just too good not to play, right? And maybe also the Cathar in the sideboard is pretty good. And yeah, Inquisitor Captain is a busted card. So something like that as our top end would be very good. I mean, in this case, our shadow element is of course a lot less prominent, and I think we need to cut the deadlands, and instead of swamp, we need to lean more into white, right? We would need maybe an Eiganjo, and we would need maybe 2 Eiganjos, and definitely an Eiganjo and a Plains. Something that goes with black, some little bit dark looking Plains. This one looks pretty dark, yep. I can imagine this strange group working together with Death Shadow, setting up camp here. Yeah, the rest is still okay, I think. And you want Thalia, could be sideboard as well. Against some decks, it doesn't do too much. Yep, I mean, that looks pretty reasonable to me. It's a little bit high curve, though. Yeah, 3 mana cards. There are a bit too many of them. Maybe cut one 3 mana card over Thalia is probably a good idea. Yeah. Thalia back, and maybe one apparition can go into the side. And then what else we would want to do would be to have a quick look here at the sideboard. Defo is good against Phoenix. Reality. Fragment Reality does seem pretty cool against certain decks. Beetle. Big Green. Skurryok. So Mana Tithe, I don't think in this deck. I think in this deck the number of creatures is just much higher. So I don't think I would want to hold up quite that many creatures. And also, probably I would want more of my removal to be creature based, and I don't want to play too many spells, especially since some of my own cards make them more expensive. So I cut down some of those. So this could be a humans version. I'm still wondering if there's any spell that gives trampling. I mean, besides Canrith. Yeah, Canrith, sure. Not really in black-white. Trample is a very... Yeah, Shadow Spear is lovely with the trample, but the lifelink is not really something we want Death Shadow to have, right? Yeah, this is a bit tricky. Okie dokie. I mean, I guess this is something we could try. And then the mono green historic, mono G historic, best of 3. That would have for me definitely ooze. Sorry, we need to put this on. Basic setting is alchemy. That's their factory setting, right? Okay, so definitely ooze. Definitely some Ronas. Definitely the pack leader. This pack leader, I don't think this is a good creature. We are not planning to play a lot of 4-mana cards. Definitely elves to ramp out our 3-mana creatures on turn 2. And definitely the Jukai Liberators, because drawing cards in green is just very good. And Shigeki is a tricky one, right? It can be a good recursion, but I think we just want really raw consistency with trolls and what is the steel leaf champion. What else would this deck want? I mean, we need some things on 2, right? We do want Collected Company, and we do want Primal Might. So what good creatures can we get on 1 and 2? Creatures on 1 and 2. Something that's actually decent. Pack leader. But we have so few things, right? Reclaimer. Shigeki. Goose. Goose is decentish. Man, there's a lot of jank. Stalker. Does Kami do anything for us? I mean, Kami is sort of a ramp card. I imagine drawing Kami late in the game would be pretty horrible, though. Geist is interesting. It has good synergy with Ooze, but because we are mono green with nothing else really. Zusa is a bit slow. The troll is still decent. I mean, 2 mana 3/3 that can has sort of semi-hexproof. It's not a bad card. Actually, the Liberator could be good, right? Liberator is a decent card. The Liberator is a decent card, and Liberator is a decent card. I write Jor-El, but somehow never really managed to make it work. Kami is obviously a very good card, but not in this deck. And Merfolk Branchwalker can be a decent card, for example. Yep. Branchwalker can be good. Liberator is good. Horn Beetle. Pax on top. We won't have that many wolves. I mean, Innkeeper is okay. It's a soft ramp. What else? Lieutenant. I remember Lieutenant was okay in Standard 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't think it's good now. Weaver, it's for enchantment creatures. Wildboard Preserver can be pretty cheeky. I like that, to be honest. Voracious Hydra, maybe it's a one-off in the sideboard against creature attacks. Can eat something easily. I mean, splashing for red or for green, it's very easy. So, especially for black. But if I would splash Emissary, there you go, that's a free spell. Pretty much. Not always, but most of the time. What else would be interesting and worthwhile trying out? And we have enough things, to be honest. And we do want... We want 22 lands, but some of those can come from... Right, some of those can come from... So we definitely want a number of Boseijus, right? Probably 3, 4. Oasis is pretty good as well. You can have one. But maybe even better than Oasis would be 2 Hydras. Yep. That seems good. I mean, that's 60 lands, pretty much. A bit of removal, bit of this, bit of that. 31 creatures. Looks okay, to be honest. Looks pretty much alright. Maybe one more creature, something. There must be some good 3 mana creature, right? I overlooked. There must be. I mean, 3 mana. There's so many strong creatures. Not these ones, but there must be something good. Prowler could be decentish. I mean, it can exile something. Tracker could be okay-ish. Garrett could be okay for black. The sideboard card. Huntsmaster. Vanguard. Oof. Oof. Jugon. I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe one Mammoth. One Lobster Beast. Or maybe just 3 Trolls. Yeah. Adversary could be okay as well. 5/5. 5/4. That can be a good spell to finish our opponents off, actually. So yeah, Beast is. I don't think we are the big creature deck. We don't have to be afraid of other big creature decks. There won't be an even bigger creature deck. No, I don't think so. That's true though. That also means that we don't necessarily need a lot of other creatures. So what we might need then is a number of lanterns, because we don't have amazing. We have some graveyard hate, but not fantastic graveyard hate. And I don't know, Gravediggers or Needle against Planeswalkers could be good. What else is good in mono green? I mean, if it comes to Planeswalkers, obviously we could play some of our own. We could play some Vivians. Ooh, I almost forgot about this guy. I love him in the sideboard. And Ceratops as well, of course. Ceratops should be in the sideboard. One Nissa in the sideboard is so tempting as well. Like, I don't think many opponents see that coming. And what's that? Ceratops. Yeah, Ceratops is just too good not to have it. Against blue decks. Yep. So, I think that's the deck. Pretty much. We're gonna try this out in the next days at some point. And maybe one Pithing Needle is enough. 3 oozes might be enough. I'm not sure about that one though. Preserver can be good against control decks because it can come in with flash. Prowler. Yeah, Prowler is just not quite good enough. I think it's the same with Adversary. I'm just not sure it's good enough. Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. So that's something I'm gonna play in the next few days. Let's see then how they do. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Have a lovely day. Take care.